Welcome to Modern Latina in Midlife. I know it's been a while. Life has been busy, but I really miss you. I really miss being behind the mic. And so today I'm bringing you an interview that I was on another podcast. The podcast is Intuition Activation with Jessica Rachel, one of my mentors. She's the person who mentored me to help me to trust my intuition more and to really trust that I am communicating with spirit guides and honing in on my channeling abilities. So, without further ado, I'd like to share this episode with you, and I hope you enjoy it.
Welcome, Sonia, to the Intuition Activation Podcast. I'm so excited to have you here for a second time.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me again. I always appreciate connecting with you. So, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you here. And you are such a shining example of somebody who just follows what their spirit guides tell you. You follow your intuition, you listen to your gut, and then you don't wait. You just take action and you make it happen. And that's really why I think you're here today, because you not only have followed every little breadcrumb, but now you're ready to level it up times 10 and do that for other people. And I just think you have so much that this audience needs to hear. And so I'm just so happy that you're here to share everything that you have to share with us today.
Thank you, Jessica. You have been an integral part of that journey for me. So, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what we're going to talk about today is, first of all, Sonia, you have this amazing coaching program called Start Your Soul Business, right? Is that what it's called?
Yes, start your soulful business.
Start Your Soulful Business. Sorry. And it's such a great topic for the people who listen to this show, because I think that a lot of the people and the people that you serve are really kind of the people who listen to this podcast. I really think that one of the biggest reasons that people want to connect to their intuition and they want to connect with their spirit guide, and usually why my clients come to me, is what is my path and purpose in this life? How am I here to serve people? What is the thing that's going to light me up and wake me up and get me going in the morning so that I feel just absolutely in love with my life? And I think that this struggle is so real to get to that point of knowing, what is my thing? And a lot of it, and me included, I was in that place for such a long time. And that was the only reason I wanted to connect to my spirit guides, because I just wanted that answer. And so I'm curious if you can share with us. Number one, I know this is a little bit of your journey, and definitely go back to that episode where we talk about this was your journey. But what advice do you have for people when they're kind of in this place, this limbo space of, I'm not thrilled with what I'm doing in my life. How do I find my thing?
Mhm. Oh my gosh. The struggle is real. Okay. If you're going through that, I feel you. I've been there too. I know you've shared your story, and I've shared in the previous episode that we did with you that, my journey. The struggle is real. So first of all, I just want to acknowledge that for everybody. And there's a way out, and it's closer than you think. It's those following those breadcrumbs, right? Just following those little breadcrumbs to start to open the doors of what's here for me. Starting to explore. If you have an interest in, I don't know, whatever, water painting, just start exploring that, right? Just start watercoloring or whatever. And many times that might not be the answer, but you'll get your answer in that creativity mode, right? It's just kind of following what feels good in your heart, not ignoring it. Many times we tend to ignore the things that we want to do because, especially as women, we want to serve. We're taught to we have to serve others, right? We have to put everybody else in front of us, and we tend to put our own needs and our desires in the back burner. So it's starting to pay attention to ourselves and not have to wait until you're in your 50s, like I did almost, to finally pay attention to myself and what I wanted to do. The thing for us, it's always with us. It's always trying to show itself to us. But just starting to pay attention to what those things are. That would be the very, very first thing that I would say is to follow the little breadcrumbs. And I talk more about the breadcrumbs in the other episode.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to look up what the number is, and maybe we'll link it in the show notes.
Yeah, yeah.
To go back. But I really think that there's actually a lot to unpack just from that little thing that you said there, because one thing that I think is so important is that the clarity comes from action. You can't wait until you're so clear on what it is you need to do before you start doing, that you have to just start throwing spaghetti against the wall, right? And see what sticks.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
The clarity comes from the action, and that's what's hard, right? Because most of the time, we don't wanna take action until we know for sure. But we don't know for sure. The clarity comes from inspired action, and that's why taking those inspired steps, like doing something fun, start with that. Doing things that feel fun and joyful. Maybe it's roller skating. But the point is that when we play, when we're in creativity, when we're doing things that we love, we hear our intuition more easily, is what I have learned along the way. So starting to do the things that we love allow that the messages and that intuition to start coming in and start just taking those little steps, like, maybe you see an ad for, I don't know, whatever it is, a coaching program, let's just say, and you think, you know what, this sounds interesting. Take a look at it. Take a look at it. If it makes your heart flutter, if it makes, it gives you butterflies, follow it. Follow it. Like the program might not be the exact thing at the end, but you might meet the person that's gonna like completely explode and open that for you. That was my experience, by the way. Taking Jolia's program, yes, it was amazing, but it went deeper. I learned so much in that, but then I went deeper because I found you. And then I was able to like really connect with my spirit guides and what I was here to do. And then really start to trust my own intuition and that it's all unfolded into what it is today. So
Yeah, yeah, it's so important. And then what would you say for someone who says, "But, like, a million different things light me up," right? Like, I get a lot of people who come to me and they're like, "I have 10,000 ideas," and the question is, which one do I even follow?
if you know that you have a million different ideas, the first thing I say is meditate on it, right? And that's one of the very first exercises I take people through in this program. It's very, very much rooted in the divine feminine, first and foremost, by the way. We co-create with the divine feminine, with the spirit guides, with your spirit team, with your human design, with your astrology chart, like all the things. We do that first to get clear on what you're here to do and what you're here to serve. So one of the very first things I take people through is meditation, and a lot of people can't do it on their own. So I guide you through a guided meditation, and that starts to help you unlock, what you should do, what you should focus on first. Might not be the thing at the end of the day, right? But it gets you there. It gets you closer. When people cannot decide, I always say pick one. Pick one because a year from today, a year is going to pass by whether you did something or not. So pick the thing at least a year from now, you'll know if it worked or not, and you can take it off the list or keep running with it. But don't get stuck in doing nothing because doing nothing is going to give you more of that nothing.
Absolutely. And, like, just to exemplify, that was very much both of our journeys. I mean, you definitely like, you started with, like, doing a totally different business
Mhm.
before you moved into coaching, and you were doing, like, virtual assistant, and that
Yep.
moved into podcast, that moved into coaching because you started working with coaches, but it was like one thing led to the next,
Yes.
right?
It all builds on each other. And that's what I say. It's never a waste of time.
Yeah.
What you pick and what you do, it's never a waste of time. There's always a lesson in it, and I feel like it all builds on each other. For me, that was my experience. I started in corporate and then a virtual assistant business, like you said, but they each built on each other. And now I was able to create this program that my spirit guides told me to create. And that's when I was like, oh, that's how all the pieces of the puzzle come together. If I felt so scattered for so many years, decades, I felt so scattered. I'm like, oh my gosh, I did this and I did that and I did that and I did energy healing. And it's like I have this whole basket of skills, and I would always give myself a hard time, like, why can't I just stick to one thing? Well, because it was all leading to this. Because all of that is part of this program, right? Like how to run a business, how to start a business, how to use your intuition to build this business, to co-create your spirit guides. And it's just amazing. It looks like but things that you're doing might not be making sense, but in the end, they all come together, and there's an aha moment where you're like, "Oh, that's why I went through that," including the struggles that we go through in life. They all become part of our message. You said this to me one time in a reading. You said, "Your mess becomes your message." And it always stuck with me because I've lived it. And now I'm like, "Oh, it resonates with me because you're so right." Yeah.
Yeah, those spirit guides, they're so wise.
You know, right? Even when we're like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, and it's so beautiful, and I love that you're saying that because there really is, like, you probably were feeling so scattered in the sense that you were like, "Well, energy healing lights me up, and channeling lights me up, and virtual assistant stuff, like, podcast stuff, like, all of these things do light me up, and starting a business." And it's like, how can any of those things are maybe seemingly unrelated even come together into one thing? And then it's like, how can I create a business that encapsulates every asset or of me, right? And then it's like, how do I get to wake up in the morning and be paid for being me,
Mhm.
right? In every area that I am.
Right. Right, and I didn't even know that all my experiences were gonna come together in this program. It was a year ago when I had a reading with you. It was October
Wow.
2024, and my guides in that reading said that I needed to do this group coaching program. And so I was like, "Okay." And so once I sat down to outline it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm pulling in all the experiences, like my corporate experience, my business experience, my even virtual assistant experience, my energy healing experience, my, channeling experience. It's all coming together. I incorporated everything in this program. So it
And that
comes.
was also, I do want to say, like, just for another example, that was also very much the case for me, you guys. Like, yes, like the teaching felt like I used to laugh. I was like, wow, I like wasted, all of those years of teacher's college. Like, what was the point? I barely used my degree, taught for like 4 years and gave up. I'm still teaching, right? Like and so like now down the road, yes, I'm not teaching children anymore, right? In a school setting, but like I still use so many of those tools in my tool belt of how to run my group workshops and all of those things. So that's still very much in my arsenal. And then when I was thinking of teaching quitting, guys, like I don't know if many of you know this. I started, I believe it was 6 different businesses before I finally figured out that this is what I wanted to do. And, I started a podcast for children about with reading children's stories. And that led me to when I was ready to start this podcast that had already had experience podcasting, right?
Right.
And I sold essential oils with an MLM. Guys, so embarrassed about that. But like it did get me to the place where I felt comfortable selling a product to people and being able to talk about it and have no shame about it, right? And so like even though now like and I still love essential oils, but I'm not selling them anymore and I have so much knowledge on them that I can see which ones can be helpful in an intuitive development sense. But like and so it's like how did that relate to what I'm doing now? They all became pieces of the puzzle eventually down the road. And so I think I really have to agree with you, Sonia, on that one. Like, just pick something. It doesn't matter which one. If it lights you up or if there's a million things that light you up, pick the one that lights you up the most or that you feel like trying right now and then lean into that. And that brings me to sort of like my next question for you, which is like, what are some of the other tools that if we don't have anything that really lights us up or we're just so in this place of I don't know, what are some other tools that maybe we could pull in to help us get some direction if we're really sitting in this place of I have no idea what I'm here to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I love this question. There are so many, but some of my favorites are, um, well, one, it's going to take a little bit of meditating, but kind of remembering what you used to love to do as a child. Like close your eyes and just remember what were those things that you used to love to do. So pull from that because usually that is our pure essence. That's when like we were uninhibited. Those interests still play a part today. So I would start with exploring some of that and how that can translate into, what we can do today. So that's one thing. I also love automatic writing. That's another exercise I take people through. I think you've done an episode before on automatic writing, I think. So go back and listen to that if you need to, but that's a really powerful tool. journaling. But when you use it in automatic writing and calling in your guides, it is so, so powerful. You'll get so many amazing questions if you allow yourself to be open and just allow your hand to just like start writing. You'll, it might not come in one session, right? But if you just keep doing it, try it for a week and see what comes through. You'll be amazed. Another thing I like to do that is a little bit more like those couple of things I feel are more kind of divine feminine. I have a practical exercise that I take people through where we just write down like all your skills, all your experiences, like all the things that you've ever done from volunteer work, from being a parent, from your work experiences, all the things that you know how to do, all the things that people come to you for, all the things that people ask you for your opinion on. Those are the things that you shine at, right? Those are the things that you are the best at is the things that people come to you for. And just kind of take inventory of those things and how can you start to utilize some of that for something today. So it's a little bit more practical. But what I like to do for people is like highlight or circle those that light you up the most and then start working with that, so that's a little bit more of a practical 3D, if you will, exercise. Another tool that I like to use a lot is human design and astrology. I'm not a human design and astrology expert, but I do bring in somebody that I work with. Oh, Monica Lorraine, she's been on the
You've
podcast.
been on this podcast, yes.
She's part of my program. So my students get a one-on-one session with her where we get super crystal clear based on the human design and birth chart on what they're here to do. So that's another really great tool to use. Yeah, and like readings, working with your spirit guides. So there's so many tools and different things work for different people. So, kind of pick one of those and start there. Maybe you use two or three tools.
Absolutely. And I think also, Sonia, you're being a little bit humble here because you're also really incredible at teasing out and getting people to connect with their past life as well.
Yes, yes, that's correct. We could do past life regression. That's a beautiful way to do it. It's a little bit more, I think, uncommon for people don't think of past life regression sessions for tapping into your purpose in this lifetime, but it definitely plays a role for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, usually when I have a client come to me for what's my path and purpose, that's the first thing their spirit guide will do. They'll show them their past life and say, here's your unfinished business from your last life. There's something that you didn't get a chance to do, or, your soul is wishing you had done it differently. And you're being presented with similar circumstances and an opportunity to show up again and show up differently. And so sometimes it's really, really helpful to dive into
Yes.
that past life
Well,
and
that was
yes.
true for me on my first reading for you with you. Yeah, that's what we did. We went back to a past life. That was really powerful. Thank you for bringing that in. Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, only because I've now worked with you and seen you pull that out of somebody else. Like
Yeah.
you put me into a past life regression and it was so insanely powerful to the point where I was witnessing my own past life through just your own meditation and prompting. And you're so talented at that. So I felt like we really needed to highlight that here. Like
Well, thank you, Jessica. I had a great teacher. You.
stop, you're gonna make me blush now. But it's so incredible to see. I mean, and that's also the thing about connecting with your intuition is that, there's so many avenues that you can go down when you learn how to do that. And I guess I'm going to ask you in your program or even just in your own experience, how can tapping into your intuition play a role in sort of you figuring out, what you're here to do? And I guess the better question is that something that you also feel that's important, something important to develop on your own? And do you encourage your students to do that? What does that look like?
I do encourage my students, I don't know what else to call
Coaching
them,
clients? I don't coaching clients?
um, to to tap into their intuition. It's huge. I definitely encourage them. I mean, part of, like, what I take them through in this particular program is very much intuition focused. And even when I work with clients one-on-one, there's always a big part of pulling in their intuition. I mean, there is no better answer than within yourself. And the thing is we try to look outside of ourselves, right? For answers, whether, oh, look at what she's doing. I want to do that. But
Yeah.
What she's doing, it's her thing, you know? What I'm doing, it's my thing. Nobody can replicate it, you know? Nobody can replicate what you do, Jessica. I mean, things might look similar, but the answers are always within. So 100%, whether it's for finding your path and purpose or not, I'm always telling people to tap into their intuition. I mean, even my kids, just for like their daily life, it's like, don't look outside of yourself for the answers that you want. You know, it's all within you. You know, people could tell you what to do, and it's never gonna feel right because it's not you, right? It's gotta come from inside.
Yeah, and I also think that, as you were saying that, I think that there's one other piece that really comes forward here is that especially once we've maybe come to a place where we kind of know maybe this is the path I want to explore, then we start to get caught up in, like, all of the strategies of this is how this person's doing it, and, like, this one says that's the only way to do it to be successful in this field, and, and then you kind of get bombarded with all of the ways that you, quote, unquote, "should be doing something" or should be offering your services, and it can be so overwhelming to the point of maybe being paralyzed and not wanting to keep going forward, right? Because you don't know what's gonna feel best for you, and I think maybe really having that intuition, that going back inward as your compass of how am I gonna do this thing?
Mhm.
So, yeah, and so I kinda wanna ask you,
Yeah.
what is your opinion on, if somebody sort of like they started, maybe they have an idea of where they wanna go, but now they kinda go, "Who am I to offer
Mhm.
this service?"
Yeah. Okay, so there's so much you just said. And
Yes.
you said 2 words. There is so much to unpack there. First of all, nobody knows what they're doing, okay? Period. All BS. Okay? Everybody's just trying to find the thing that works for them because you hit the nail on the head. What works for one person is not gonna work for everybody. It just doesn't. Everybody's energy is different. We all magnetize in a different way. We all show up in a different way. One strategy does not work for everybody. One strategy does not work for every client. So I have a really hard time with people who say that this is the way, period, because it's not. That's wrong. Everybody has their own unique way of attracting clients and doing business, and it's gonna, like you said, it's gonna come back to going within, right? So once you decide, okay, this is the thing I want to do, 100%, then it's like, well, who am I to be doing this? That kept me stuck for 5 years, by the way,
Wow.
because my intuition had told me in 2020 to start this program. And I started outlining it, and I'll tell you within 20 minutes, I literally shut my laptop. I said, "Who am I to be doing this?" And I never picked it up again until a year ago when my spirit guides came through in the reading and told me to do it. So, imposter syndrome, limiting beliefs, all the things that keep you stuck. Who am I to do this? I don't know enough. I don't have all the certifications. Who's going to believe me? Nobody's going to trust me. All those things start coming in, and it's all parts of ourselves that are just trying to keep us protected because we've been operating as this version of ourselves, right? We've grown up with certain beliefs based on our experiences from our childhood and from our caretakers, and so all these parts have come in to protect us from being seen or being made fun of or whatever it is, you know, all the things, all the messages that we tell ourselves, all the stories that we tell ourselves. It's just part of us that's trying to keep us protected from something, from failure or from whatever it is. So that's one of the huge things that I always work with every single client. Whatever it is that we're working on, there is a limiting belief always has to be worked with. And it takes going within as well. It takes going within. There's different ways to work with that, right? There's parts work and shadow work. And I've done some work like that with you, right? Where,
Oh, yeah.
kind of energy based and I feel where that block is on the body and we go within and okay and cover, okay, what is that? What is that part doing, to keep us small, to keep us unseen or whatever it is.
Yeah, and you do that with your clients, right? Like, you'll do the
Mhm.
energy, and you'll identify the block and help them uncover it.
Mhm. Yes, there. At least I do that with all my clients, but in this particular program, there's a whole module, a whole section that's dedicated to working with the limiting beliefs, and then I work with them one-on-one as well. Like, okay, if you can't that unblocked with the exercises that I provide, then I work with them one-on-one to, like, really go in deep and get those blocks unblocked.
Yeah, because I think it's the resistance, right? Like, we just like, we know this is what we wanna do, or even if we're not 100% sure, but, like, we know how we wanna feel showing up in our day-to-day life, and we know that we can't go on the way we've been going on. So, even that, for me, was enough of a why to keep going, right?
Mhm,
And then we just hit so much of our own BS, right?
mhm,
Like, just and it puts on the brakes, and it makes you do what you did, right? Like, close the laptop and walk away for 5 years, right?
yeah,
And you just stay stuck because it doesn't feel safe, and your nervous system goes, "We don't know what's around this corner, and, like, we're trying to save you from the saber-toothed tiger," right? Like,
right,
your nervous system
exactly,
shuts down to protect you. I think it's such a beautiful way of putting it. Like, it's just your body trying to keep you safe. And so
right,
remind yourself as you're going forward, I wonder if it's one, maybe your why. How do I want to feel? I don't want to feel like this anymore. But then two, like, hey, I'm safe. Like, no one's gonna mock me as I do this.
mhm.
Right?
Yeah, exactly, and you made a really good point, like, I got stuck for 5 years. I don't wanna say hating what I was doing because I had amazing clients, but knowing deep in my heart that I was meant for more, that there was more out there for me. There was an unfulfilled piece that was begging to come out, but I was keeping it stuck. So, that was uncomfortable,
Hmm.
but so was creating the thing. It was all uncomfortable anyways, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's fear one way or the other.
Yeah.
It feels comfortable sometimes to get stuck because that's the easy way out is to not do anything. But inside it's painful. Inside is painful because inside we know we're not happy, we're not fulfilled. So the way I see it is pick your hard, you
Yeah.
know?
Choose your
Pick
hard for
choose your
sure.
hard. Do you want the heart of staying where you're at, or do you want the heart of moving forward? One way or another, it's gonna feel hard, and one's gonna get you to one direction, and the other one's gonna keep you stuck. So,
Yeah. I heard this once on, I think it was another podcast somewhere, but somebody said it's equally as hard to be healthy and fit and eat well as it is to be unhealthy and overweight, right? Like, they're both hard, but which one would you rather?
that was that's a good one.
Right? And so it's like they both require different levels of effort, right? But at the end of the day, like, which one are you gonna it's gonna suck either way, right?
Right.
It doesn't feel
100
good, right? But you gotta get there at some point, right? You gotta move
right.
forward in some way. So when I heard that one, like, that one hit me hard. I'm like, you're right. It is hard to still to be unhealthy. Like, it doesn't feel good to stay.
It's, like, easy to get unhealthy, but once you're unhealthy, you gotta deal with the consequences of that. So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, one way or another, you're gonna deal with the hard.
You're gonna deal with the hard, so choose your hard and move your
Mm,
way forward. And so I guess then my question for you is if okay, so we kind of have an idea of where we want to go, right? We kind of think maybe this is what I want to do. Maybe we worked our way through, some of those limiting beliefs and we're committed to stepping forward even though it's really uncomfortable. But I think that, like, a lot of people will then come to this place of I still need some form of strategy here, right? I
mm,
still need some steps going forward. And that's when we get really overwhelmed, right? We either take
100%.
on too much, or we have no idea where to look, or we don't know where to start. So, how do you recommend then we start to take those next little baby steps? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, keep it simple in the beginning, especially if you're gonna do this alone, keep it simple, right? Like, decide the thing that you wanna do, create a simple offer, and start testing it out with friends and family, start sharing it with friends and family, and that can be really vulnerable too. So that could be another piece where you're gonna have to work with on your nervous system or releasing a block because that's vulnerable to share that with your friends and family. But I'd say start simple. You don't have to build this whole huge thing, business with websites and funnels and emails and all the things from the get-go. You don't have to do that from the get-go. And I think that people see it in that way because they see other people doing that. They're like, "Oh, I gotta do all the things." You don't, but you can get there, and it can be simple. And that's why I'm so passionate about this program because I took everything that I know and simplified it into 12-week lessons of, okay, this is your next step. And this is the next step. And each step builds on the next. And I even have a module on like creating your website and creating the messaging for your website. You don't have to create a website. You can have a simple page. You can have a simple PDF, simple Word document where you have your offers written. There are so many ways of making it more simple and not so overwhelming. And to give you some context, in my human design, like that's my superpower. My superpower is making things simple for people. My clients over the years have always told me, "Oh my gosh, you made this so simple. You made this so easy to understand." And I take that through in this program. So I ran this program for the first time in the spring, and that's the one thing that people told me. Number one, the clarity meditations to like help them get clear on what they're here to do, they loved. And then number two, the simplicity of the program. They're like, it was so simple and it's step by step what you need to do. But not only that, so if you're going to do that, it's taking those simple steps, right? If you're going to do that alone, it's taking one small, simple step at a time and not letting yourself be taken by all the courses and all the things that people need to tell you that you need to do or that you need to take. Start simple. And the second part is if you can find a group, whether it's my program or somebody else's program, what I love about what I did here is that we do live coaching once a week. So you have the teachings and you have the step by step, but then you get to come on live with me once a week to like ask questions. And how do I do this? And I got stuck here and I'm afraid. And they start self sabotaging. And so I'm there to kind of help them along. But then we're also meeting with other women in the same group. And we're supporting one another and we're sharing with each other. They're sharing with each other what they're doing and they're supporting one another and they're cheerleading one another on. And when we work in groups, the intentions magnify. And that's what I love about working in group, especially with women. In fact, their very first module is intention setting, manifestation, and mindset work. That is our very first week. That's what we work on. And so we set those intentions in our group and we create that intention so that we can give that energy and give that power. And that's that. I'm telling you, this is the program I wish I had when I first started. Okay.
Ew. It really is. It sounds so amazing. And there's definitely something to be said about that accountability piece and like having that group of people to cheer you on. And there really is something about being in a group setting that propels you forward exponentially faster than if you were doing it on your own. The course in and of itself, of course, I always tell people investing in yourself and investing in a course, like yes, potentially you could gather the information on the internet yourself and make progress on your own. And taking a course that's like boiled down into a specific timeline is going to accelerate your progress by 1,000%, right? You're going to get
One
there so much faster.
100%. That's the beauty of investing in whatever course you're going to do, but following through, right? Following through. And that's why I love the life component piece of this is that we meet once a week so that we can keep moving you along, right? And keep working in group. But yes, investing in yourself, especially when you're working with a group of people, it, yeah, it gets you there faster. And somebody's already put the steps together for you. Everything I put into this program, you can find on your own. Like you said, you can find on your own. It's not a secret, right? But I've taken literally what 20, 30 years of experience and packaged it all up in very simple step by step processes to it's my experience all packaged up together so that you don't have to go googling and you don't have to overwhelm yourself and you don't have to guess whose strategy to follow and you don't have to guess, compare yourself to others and do it on your own.
Yeah, and you get to ask questions and I do wanna add this piece because maybe you guys don't know this about me. Sonia, you might not even know this about me. I am a self-proclaimed I admit it, I am a course junkie. I get so wrapped up in the promise that these courses offer you that I'm like, "This is gonna transform my life." And do you know how many courses, Sonia, I have bought that are walk yourself through courses? I've bought them and they just sit there, right? I get so, like, into the process of it. I maybe get into the first module or something, and then I run out of time, but when you're in a program and you have to show up every week and there's somebody asking you, like, "How's your progress and what are you doing?" Not that it's like school and that you're gonna get, like, a bad mark if you don't, but you feel it when you didn't do your work, right? And there's something just so different about that energy than no one's gonna know if I finished that course that I bought, except maybe my husband who's like, "Did you actually use that with the money you spent?" Right? But, even then, there's some level of accountability there. But when there's the whole group of people, like, cheering you on and watching your progress, and you wanna be able to show up the next week to share with them, like, "Look at this accomplishment I made." I mean, that's how you're gonna move the needle forward.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I have the courses sitting in my inbox right now, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I bought that 2 months ago. I need to look at that."
I do
Same.
it so it's really bad. Like, we've
The
literally
life
had
the
to
life
find a budget for it because keep doing.
well, I, like, set a budget for, like, Black Friday
Oh my gosh, I love
just to
it.
purchase a bunch of online courses,
All the online courses, I do that too. It's really bad.
and
'Cause
I
they all
have
go on
and then
sale, and you're like, "That course I've been
go
looking at all year."
exactly. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I wonder if that one's gonna go on sale, and I wonder if" and I write a list, and I
And then
set a budget,
I know, and then
and I
here you
buy
are in November with 6 courses that you suddenly have to
yes,
work your way through,
yes, exactly,
and it's
and I
not
do.
the
I
same.
love courses, and some of them are really wonderful, but yeah, it's that life component for me that has moved the needle every single time, and it's a bigger investment than just doing a digital, self-guided course, but it's so worth it. It is so worth it. I know without a shadow of a doubt that investing, say, for example, in this program, if you follow the steps in the 90 days, you might not have your business running in the 90 days, but if you follow it, I promise you, you will make 5 times, if not 10 times more the investment in a year if you do it. I
Yeah.
know it without a shadow of a doubt.
100%. And usually in these cases, and I've seen this with my own group programs, like students start making their investment back
Mhm.
usually before it's over,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I know the last, yeah, yeah, that when I did your program,
Oh, you made it back way before. You were the first one,
yeah, and the same with the coaching program I took before that with Julia, same thing. By the time I was done, I had made my money back.
which
So
is
that's why I can say with confidence, "Oh, yeah,
yeah,
easy."
easily you'll make your money back. Yeah, for sure. So it's so worth it. Well, so beautiful. And I want you to share like all of the details about this program. But before you do, is there anything that I didn't get a chance to ask you that you just want like some wisdom that you want to impart on the listeners of this podcast that they need to hear?
Take one thing from this conversation, just one thing that lit you up and just run with it. Whatever it was, do something for yourself. If any of this spoke to you, don't just let it be another podcast episode that you just listened to. Just take one message from this today and do something with it. Whatever that was. Journal about it, go whatever, go roller skating. I don't know, whatever the one thing was, take one thing and take action on the one thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And if you're sitting there stuck in your corporate job and you're thinking, maybe this isn't for me, then go check out Sonya's stuff.
Aw, thank you.
Check it out, guys. Don't even walk. Like, go and run.
Mhm,
Everything that she has to offer. And I know that, like this is so interesting because you guys know fully well that like Sonia was coached by me, but the services she has provided to me since then have been so impactful. I now go to her for help.
mhm,
So you guys, like, she really is the real deal.
mhm. Thank you.
Absolutely, you have to go and hear what she has to say. So tell us more about your program. How can people find you? How can just tell us all of the things.
Okay. Well, let me share with you the program. It's a 90-day group coaching program. And, we have I have pre-recorded teachings that drop once a week, every Monday, and it takes you step by step through all the things to like build your program, right? And to build your business. And then we meet once a week as well. And then there's a one-on-one session for human design and astrology to like get, with an expert that goes through that process with you. And then we take that information, and from that, we determine what you're here to do, who you're here to serve. We create your messaging from there. So it's all very like divine feminine energy, like the first few weeks. We start with manifestation and intention setting and meditating and calling in our guides and, your human design and journaling. And it's beautiful. That was like the favorite part of like the previous students. They were like, oh my gosh, I just loved all the woo woo stuff, right? We brought in all the things to like support everybody. And then we start working with the divine masculine to actually start building the foundation and to like start once we've created the messaging and the branding, then we start and the soul aligned offerings, then we start actually, creating the online presence, right? Creating a website and how are you going to schedule people? How are you going to take payments? Like that kind of stuff, which can be super simple. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. I take them through understanding how to legalize their business, to protect themselves, to take advantage of like the tax benefits of having a business. So setting up your business systems and all the logistics, all that like not so fun stuff, but I make it simple to understand. And I've been running a business for 10 years. I have two businesses right now, my virtual assistant and podcast production business, and I have a coaching business. I owned an interior decorating business before. I've worked with hundreds of women over the last 10 years in the back end of their business. I've seen it all. So I know how to do this with my eyes closed. And then I help them find their clients. And I don't like to call it selling because selling feels so cringe to people. It's really finding your clients, how to, in a beautiful soul aligned way, talk about your offers in a way that feels beautiful because that's what it is. It's just offering what your gifts in a way that feels soul aligned for you, right? So that it feels authentic to you and not like cringy. And then we go through social media strategy also for soulpreneurs so that it feels authentic and not comparing yourself and not doing the TikTok pointing, dancing. We don't have to do any of that, by the way. So it's 12 weeks and I'm walking through them, I'm walking them through all of it once a week with live coaching calls. They have access to all the teachings for lifetime access. They get access to the recordings for 6 months. We do private coaching as well, one-on-one. They get 2 sessions. And we have unlimited support between calls, Voxer support. If they have any questions or just need to pick me up, they get support with that as well. And for your listeners, I have something special. For your listeners, I'm offering $500 off tuition, and they get an additional one-on-one coaching session with me that they could use in any way. It could be a reading, it could be a past life regression, it could be pure coaching. So they get an additional one-on-one with me. I also have, because I'm a podcast producer, I have an online course to teach people how to start a podcast. So they get free access. It is a self-guided course. So they get free lifetime access to that. And
Wow.
I also have a co-working group, a co-working circle for women in business, because sometimes being in business can be really lonely. So we get together twice a month to work together on Zoom and share our projects and like accountability. So they get access to that for 4 months as well if they just want to come and join to like work on their stuff for the program and just get additional support that way as well. So they get all that. That's a little bonus that I put together for your listeners. So
Wow, Sonia, that is so incredibly generous. Guys, I didn't know she was gonna do that. That's really amazing.
you're welcome.
Gonna
And
know
they
Son
can find that at bluechakrastudio.com/intuition activation.
Okay, so can you say that one more time?
bluechakrastudio.com/intuition activation.
Guys, we have our own code. That's
Yes,
awesome.
we do. Yes, we do.
And it will
I know.
also be linked in the show notes, and don't worry, Sonia will make sure that happens because she runs this podcast. It's so amazing. Wow, like, such a generous offer, guys. That is, like that's so much juicy, delicious content that, like, you're really not gonna get anywhere else. And I have to tell you guys, like, Sonia, she's the best. She knows what she's doing. I mean, I couldn't run this business without her. And so, like, if you want even, like, a piece of what, of what it is that she's offering, like, I'm telling you, this is going to 10x your life. This is the way. What we're almost at the back end of 2025, like, this is the time to do it so you just hit the ground running in 2026.
Perfect timing. You have that right. We start October 20th, so you have a little bit of time. But yeah, hit the ground running, right? Like end the year with this program so that next year you're like set up and starting your own thing and something that fulfills you. I'm really passionate about helping women start their own thing, create their own stream of income, something they can call their own that can't be taken away by whatever's happening in politics or anywhere else. Like we're having enough shit stripped away from us, at least here in the US. Like it's time. Like shit's going down and it is now the time for us to take our power back and to build our own thing. And this is why I'm so passionate about it because I've been in a place where a shitty place. I've been in really, really shitty places. I've struggled a lot financially, and I'm finally where I am able or where I'm supposed to be because I followed my intuition and I created my own thing. And nobody can take that away from me. And that's what I want for people is to feel the level of excitement and fulfillment that I feel because we all have it in us. We all came here with a gift that we are here and supposed to share. It's I'm not just encouraging you to at this point, it is your duty
Yes,
to share those gifts because that's what we came here to do. So
100%. Yeah, how can you not, right? I mean, you
right.
have a gift you have to offer, so time to put it out there. Yeah. Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh, Sonia, so beautiful and you're so generous. And I'm so excited for the listeners to hear about this and to go check out your stuff, guys. Don't walk, like run and go and check out this program. It's like everything I wish I had when I was in this place, when I was still a teacher and I felt so stuck. Like if someone would have handed me this course, I would have been set.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Same. I feel the same way.
yeah, it's really like, you guys don't understand. It took us so much longer to figure it out, and you could have it done in 90 days.
Mhm. Yeah.
So definitely go and do it. Well, thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Sonia, for sharing your gifts and your expertise with all of us. It's such a pleasure to have you here as always. So thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. You have been a part of my journey too. So thank you for what you do because you were the conduit. You were the vessel for those messages to come in easier. And so I really, really appreciate you and your gifts too.
Thank you so much. Amazing. Well, thanks, guys.